Welcome to Kickass Buddy Connection, the podcast that reminds you success doesn't have to come at the cost of burnout. I am your host, Prita Bolaki, and together we are rewriting what it means to lead with confidence, clarity, and support. In this space, we crush limiting beliefs, rise above perfectionism, and build a life where you're back, not broken. Each episode is your permission slip to stop doing it all alone, because your potential deserves more than just survival mode. It deserves power, it deserves purpose, and it deserves a kick-ass buddy in your corner. If that speaks to your soul, stick around. Subscribe now, and let's get you back, not burnout. Let's kick burnout to the side and ignite the unstoppable force within you. Disclaimer. The primary purpose of this podcast is to provide education. Information provided in this podcast is not intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any disease. Information given in this podcast must not be used in any legal capacity whatsoever, including but not limited to as a basis for expert witness testimony or establishing standard of care in a legal sense. Trigger warning. Some experiences shared in the podcast may be triggering to some audience members. User discretion is advised. Welcome to Kickass Buddy Connection, the podcast that reminds you success doesn't have to come at the cost of burnout. I'm your host, Prita Bolaki, and today episode is something special. Today, I got a very special guest, Dale Stevens. She's not just a coach, she's someone who has spent years helping leaders step into their present, their power, and their voice. But before she ever stepped into the world of executive coaching, Dale lived many lives. On stage, on screen, and yes, even as an actress in Mission Impossible. So grab your tea or your power coffee and get ready, because this episode is your reminder that you never meant to do it alone. Dale Stevens is a London-trained actress who starred in productions like Mission Impossible, Neighbours, and Blue Heelers, mastering the art of commanding present under pressure. Now Dale is the creator of Playwright, a high-impact leadership methodology that transforms acting techniques into leadership power. For over 12 years, she coached CEOs, CFOs, lawyers, TEDx speakers to amplify their executive presence, influence, and confidence. From Hollywood sets to corporate boardrooms, Dale has mastered what it takes to own the room. And today, she shares her journey, her lesson, and of course, her kick-ass buddy who's been with her along the way. This conversation is a reminder that present isn't just about performance. It's about showing up fully, leading with authenticity, and knowing that you don't have to do it alone. Our topic today is From Hollywood to the Boardroom on Connection and Confidence. A conversation about transforming stage present to executive present, the power of authentic influence, and why true confidence is built not in isolation, but through connection and support. Dale Stevens, welcome to Kickass Buddy, where we are back, now burnout.
Oh, thank you so much, Preeta. I'm so excited to be here, and you're a brilliant host, and I can't wait to get into it.
Thank you for your time. Let's start at the beginning, Dale. What's the one pivotal moment that shaped your self-leadership or mindset journey?
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting because my philosophy is that human behavior drives economics. And that really happened for me because when I'm 6 years old, And I'm in the theatre and I see Kathleen Gorham, this ballerina, and I see her dance Alice in Wonderland. And she goes down into the rabbit hole and she comes up into this whole new world. And in that moment, I know I want to be her. And I kind of do become her. I become a dancer like her. I become an actor like her. And she's my ballet teacher. I become a coach like her. And so that 2 hours changed my life. That how she showed up in that 2 hours, her human behavior changed my whole life. So I really believe that how we show up changes people's lives.
That's amazing. Wow. 6 years old. It shows how early inspiration can leave an imprint that shape your entire path. Thanks for sharing, Did. Now you accomplished so much, but I know none of us can do it alone. When did you realize that?
Well, that was kind of fairly recently, really. It's been with Kaylee Chu, and that's how you and I met through Kaylee. And what I think I've been reflecting on why Kaylee is such a great kick-ass buddy. And I think it's because of the fact that we are complementary. I think often we really just want to hang out with people who are like us. And I'm very arty farty. I've been an artist my whole life. And so in the art world, I feel very at home and everything. And people always introducing me to more actors that are speaking coaches and more arty farty people. And really, you don't get ahead much if you hang around with people who are very similar to yourself. And I think that why Kaylee's so amazing is because we have massively complementary skills. We have complementary skills. She's like phenomenal with community and big numbers and all like that. And I'm a kind of dive deep one-on-one person. She's complementary in her personality. I think it's just so hilarious because she's like calm. She's like calm blue ocean. And when things go wrong, she laughs. Whereas I'm like, Kaylee, I'm emotional. I'm like, Kaylee, this has happened. Do you think it's okay? Do you think it's okay? And she'll just like laugh.
That's amazing.
So we've got complementary personalities and skills, but we've got complementary experience as well because she understands the business of speaking like that, and I understand the art of it. And so I think when you can work with people who have complementary skills, complementary experience, complementary personality, then you're never in competition because you're actually working together. And I think it just goes a bit beyond. Look, having someone in your corner, a bit of a cheerleader is great,
Yeah.
but they're really mostly saying, you're great, go you, which is, it's a good thing, but I don't think it's really what you're talking about with the Kick-Ass Buddy, where you're actually growing together.
Yeah, my next question was to ask you who is your kick-ass buddy, but we got to know it's Katie. And I want you to tell us, when did you realize that she is your kick-ass buddy? Because I know that you had many friends, right? What make her different so that people can realize, because obviously it takes time to know that that person is your kick-ass buddy. Like you said, there's two different, there's friends who you know for a long time and whatever they do, you will always be there. There are friends that you're ready to be separate from, like a seasoned friend. But how did you know that she was the kick-ass buddy?
I think it's because I had an area of frustration in my life that was driving me nuts. And that was really about getting more clients and the business side of my work. And she came in and said, okay, I'll do that. And you just do what you're great at. So I think that she really fulfilled a deep frustration in me. And then I think it feels weird because you feel at home and not at home. So you feel at home with your values, that you've got the same, you're massively aligned with your values, but how they operate makes you feel really uncomfortable. So it means that you're aligned with the values, but they're going to stretch you. And you go, I don't think so. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do that. And you feel uncomfortable in the stretch. And that's the perfect.
Yeah, I love
That's
that.
the internet.
I think that's what a true kick-ass buddy does. I think what you're saying is that it gives you freedom, but never lets you fall as well, right? That's amazing. Every growth story has one belief that we have to let go. What was that for you?
That you don't have to take responsibility for everything and everyone. And you're better off to actually be more in your lane. I think, I don't know whether this is really plays out, but I think there's something in birth order in the family.
Yeah.
Being the firstborn, I don't know. I feel like that kind of puts this responsibility on you. I mean, when my sister was born, I think mum said she was having a baby, but I think I thought I was. I think I always saw my sister as my baby. then and then I saw everyone else as my responsibility. And I was brought up to, put everyone first. That's a great thing. But I took that really a bit too far because I'm a bit obsessive. And I was like, take responsibility for everyone,
Yeah.
everything. How can you make anything better wherever you are? And this it was a bit burdensome, and also not everyone wants you to take all this responsibility. And what I do now is I kind of have all these ideas about how things could be better, but I don't say them. I just stay in my lane. I go, okay, how can I do my job to the best of my ability and stop taking responsibility for everyone and everything else?
Yeah, that's I love what you said, but sometimes it's very difficult, right? You have to do at the best of your ability and at the same time not taking responsible for everyone and everything. I'm being the eldest as well. So how do you manage that? Because sometimes it's a fine line in between, right?
Well, I think it's just say less, do less. I think it's a discipline. I think it's a discipline, and it's also it's putting you have all these thoughts. It's putting your thoughts through a filter of you just take. So you have a thought, and then normally you just go, "I'll help. I'll suggest this." Then
Yeah.
you take a moment and go, "Okay, will I not?" You just decide. You take another decision. You don't just do it. You go, "Okay." You leave it and leave it, leave it. And if it keeps popping up and there's a moment, then you let it. But you don't, yeah. So I think it's like holding on to these ideas that you can bring up if anyone asks you or if there's an opening. But I think it's discipline of just, and also the thing is that I love the idea of priority. I think it's very interesting priority because it seems like sometimes we think priority is like, okay, I'll have the top 5 priorities for the day.
Yeah.
Well, nothing's a priority. So I think it's also the power. Someone said that strategy is what you say no to. And if I'm constantly thinking about all my speakers' lives and everything to do with Kaylee's business, everything to do with Kaylee's life, every client I have, if I'm thinking about their whole business, well, how much time am I really, how am I prioritizing the work, the specific work I'm doing with them? I'm not. So priority, I believe, is what you say no to. And deciding is cutting off different things. And I think that if focusing on being great at what you do, the other all these other ideas, and you can take responsibility when it's needed. Like if someone, really needs you or something like that, you can step in. If there's a moment you can share your ideas
Yeah.
a little bit, but you've got to keep narrow focus is underrated, I think.
I love what you said. I'm just gonna ask you a question on this one, which is very interesting. Is yeah, you can do it with work and so on, but when we come to family, someone call you and just saying something, especially you being the eldest one. So do you sometimes feel like, okay, even if they're not telling you, you feel like I have to do it because they said it on the phone. They mention it that they're going through this or they have to do this and I can help them. Whatever is it. How do you manage that? Because sometimes they're just telling you. They don't expect anything from you, but you have that responsibility in you. Like you said, it might be the culture, it might be the upbringing, whatever it is. How do you know the difference? Because I just realized that and I wanted you to share that with us. How do you think should be? that part where I'm just listening as the big sister, the elder sister, or the daughter here, or the friend, whoever it is, and not to do any action. So when do you know what to do and how to let go?
Yeah, look, I think that it's very, very difficult. One of the things that popped into my mind is that part of it is we feel like, oh, if we don't do it, they have to have us. Like, we are the center of the universe. Well, we're not. And the thing is that if we don't, what can happen? There's two things that can happen that are very positive. One, they will sort it out themselves and be more resourceful. Two, someone else will step in and they will have create a relationship with them. So there are options. If someone desperately needs you, obviously you're going to do it. Like that is just easy.
Yeah.
It's those ones where I could help. I could help. They're the ones that kind of get you all the time. It's priority. What are you going to prioritize? You can't prioritize everything.
Yeah,
Then
I love what you said. Yes, because that's a big one. What we are talking here is that realizing that responsibility doesn't mean carrying everyone else's weight. And sometimes you just need to let go.
that's right. I mean, there was a woman at my church who had a 80th birthday, and I did find out quite late when the lunch was going to be, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I didn't do that, and like she's so wonderful, and it would be so great. And then I called her on the day after the lunch, and she said, "Oh, I had such a fabulous time. It was wonderful. There was about 15 people there. I'm speechless. How great it was." And I thought, yes, Dale, you being there would have been literally no effect at all. Do you know what I mean? Like I just thought, oh yes, I have to, but I don't have to.
Yeah.
You have to trust that that other people step in, that people will be able to cope, and yeah, I think trusting that you're not really the center of the universe, that without you, people can still do stuff and people can still have a great time without you. Who'd have thought it?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, a couple of months ago, a movie about that, where the guy is think that his sister and he had to be here for his mom, and he just had an accident and passed away. And then he's next to God, and he's like, "What? How they will handle?" And then you can see that God is showing him they're handling without you. Yeah, they're missing you, but life go on. Your sister's looking after your mom. Your other sister, you thought she needed your help, but actually she was scared of you and she was not telling you that. And that was a beautiful story of telling you that sometimes you feel like, oh, they won't be able to live without you, but actually human beings do.
Yeah.
Love that.
Go figure that they do. Yeah, it's so true. And I think that I think that if you have faith, God will prompt you when He really wants you to act.
Yeah.
And so when He does, even if it seems crazy or whatever, unusual, whatever, you act. And the rest of the time, you just wait for that prompting.
I love that. Love that. That's cool. Thank you. Then, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would you say?
Well, I've been reflecting on this, and look, as an actor, whenever I didn't get a role, I would just go and do more classes and get better. And I thought, oh, if I just become the best actress ever, people will see me, and I will do better. But that really wasn't the case at all. Is that I wasn't really. Every time I got a role is because I got in front of the right people. It wasn't because I was suddenly better. And so what I would do is actually strategically connect with people who I wanted to work with. If I'm an executive now and I wanted to, there was some CEO or some company or some CEO that I really thought was the best leader in Australia or in the world, well, then I would get in front of that person. I would find a leader that I want to work with and I would get connected to them, get connected to the people that you want to work with, that you want to be with, because that connection, if you think that you're going to just be so brilliant at your job. It's the same in any work situation. People aren't going to notice you. They can't. You need to be in front of their face. You need to be communicating who you are. You need to be communicating excitement about your philosophy and experiences that you've had and people that you've worked with. You need to be able to communicate that, but you need to be connected and in front of the right people.
Yeah.
To be able to strategically move where you want to move. I believe you have to be incredibly strategic and incredibly strategic.
Yeah.
To work with, and how do you get to do that? Because I think that who you want to work with is so much more important than these goals of how many sales you get, or whether you get your MBA or you don't, or whether you have whatever certificates you have, whatever success you have. All these things are relatively unimportant compared to who's your inner circle, what are they doing, and who you are strategically pretty much targeting to be connected with, to be involved with. And then you will, even if it's not that person, it will be people like them. So you'll end up in an environment where you're really going to thrive.
I love that so much. When you're talking about that, it's like I'm thinking a lot about the connection that have changed my way of seeing things. And there was a saying it's your success is not defined about what you do, but about who you are with. So it's very powerful. And when you're talking about the connection, it has to be real connection as well. Even it's strategic, but it has to be authentic, right? So I have a question that maybe many people ask, like, obviously we all want connection, right? With text nowadays online, you have linking, which is make it so easy to connect with people, right? So what do you think when you first meet someone and you have to start a conversation or in a networking? What is the one advice that you can give people listening to us, that how would they start a conversation? Because many people want to have connection, but they don't really know how to do the first step. And I think that's when having a conversation, the first sentence is very important, right?
Yes, it is. But really, people don't actually listen to what you say much, because what are they doing? They're thinking, oh, what am I going to say? And what do you think about me? People are like hanging off your every word. I'm a bit of fan of also kind of experimenting with what you say first. And really, you want to like what you're saying. And it's going to be clear. So you're saying something that people understand. But mostly, I love networking because I love talking about business and I love finding out about their business. So, and I don't even have cool, amazing questions. Usually, if I just shut up, they talk. And then I listen very intently and then they tell me more. And so I think that that's really important. I think that some of the things you can say is, I mean, I can say, I'm from playwright. I believe that human behavior drives economics, but even that's not really a conversation starter. I mean, I don't know. I said to one woman, I met her and I told her a success story of one of my clients. I said, I started off and I just met her and I said, and she said, oh, what do you do? And I said, well, one of my clients came to me and she was so nervous that public speaking, that she came out in a rash at her own wedding. And I worked with her and then she got her company to be one of 30 companies at the UN.
Oh,
Told a little story.
yeah. Well,
And she became a client. So you can do that. You can tell what do you do? And they can actually tell like a little micro story.
yeah, what you're saying here is very simple and powerful. And what I'm getting from that is so true, is because you're saying that without connection, in a way, there's no growth, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, exactly. And look, people don't care what you know until they know how much you care, but they care how you make them feel. If you go in there with that intention that you are genuinely interested in them and you genuinely care about them, they'll get it.
Yeah, I agree that emotion is very important because it's true. Sometimes you're talking about something. Yes, there has to be a common interest, but it's the emotion. How does the person make you feel? It's what you remember. It's not really about the conversation.
Yeah, so you can't really fail at that first thing, I don't think. Can you nail it? Well, to a degree, but sometimes if it's too slick, people kind of tune out. Even if you've rehearsed it so wonderfully, if it sounds slick, people t sometimes tune out and wait till you actually have a chat with them. Do you know what I mean? So, but it's not all lost. They say in the first 7 seconds, people decide whether they want to listen to you. And that's not based on your clever words.
Yeah.
It's based really, I believe it's based mainly on your energy and if you genuinely care about them, genuinely interested in them, that's kind of all you have to do. And what you're going to say first, kind of play around with and work out what feels best for you. Because I mean, why can't you have fun?
Yeah, true.
If you're going to be saying the same thing and having to kind of drum it up and go, oh, I believe this, la, 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 or I help people do this, that, and the other, la, 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 it's just going to drive you're going to be bored and so have fun yourself and play around and also see how it. I mean, I used to say I've said the worst things and no one seemed to care, but they would look blank at me. But when I started out, it was so terrible. I used to say things like, "What do you do?" I said, "I help people to grow." What's that anyway? And people like look at me like, well, I don't know what that is, and I would know what it was, and then eventually they'd understand what I do. But no, no one ever walked away going, oh, I don't know who you are. I'm not interested in you. They would gradually find out what that, they go, oh, I don't know what that means. And gradually find out what it meant. It's what you bring, but what you say you can really develop because everyone's got a different audience. If you're talking to engineers and, you know, tech people, or if you're talking to, so if you have the one thing, it's not really going to help
Yeah, I agree.
wanting to adapt. So yeah, but if you care about them,
Yeah.
you much can't go wrong.
Thank you so much. You are my speaker coach, and we love you being in Inner Circle, that you find our potential, you know where to tap in our potential, and that's what we love about you. But I especially want to know, having so many personality, working with so many different people, getting their speech, tapping into their potential, like who we are. I want to know what grounds you. What's that one daily practice that keeps you in your power? Because I guess in every session you have to show that same energy and be there for us. So what's that one daily practice that help you to do what you're doing? Not only your professional but your personal life as well.
Oh, for sure. And especially being so emotional and yes, lots of different people and everything. Well, the first thing in the morning, I do the same thing. I've been doing this since 2018. And what I do is I get my journal and I write down what I believe God is saying to me. And then I write back what I believe, then I write back an answer to him. Then I open up the Bible and write out some verses from the Bible and do 3 cryptic crosswords. And that's my beginning.
That's amazing. I love that. Anchoring yourself in faith. Before,
Yeah, well, it's symbolic, I think, because I am putting him as a priority in my action every day. So I don't say, oh, yes, God's the most important thing, but oh gosh, if I'm not too tired at the end of the night, I'll spend some time with him. So it's a symbolic action of who is my priority, which is him, and whose I am, that I am his. So whenever I stuff up during the day and things don't go well, or I'm not that impressed with myself, or other people aren't that impressed with me, or stuff doesn't happen, or I don't spend as much time with him or behave in a way that I believe he wants me to, I can always reset the next morning. So that it just, that grounds me in everything.
Amazing. That's a very, very strong foundation. Thanks for sharing that with us. Thank you. And finally, for anyone listening right now who might be doubting themselves or feeling stuck, what's your message for them?
Look, my biggest, I believe confidence comes from competence. I think that if you don't feel confident in something, then you need to build a technique, a structure, a process, a technique around that thing, and then you need to keep practicing it, and then you'll be confident. As you gain these competencies, you will be confident. That's where confidence comes from. I don't think that my sister is a sports psychologist, and she never tries to get her athletes to drum up confidence, to get in a confident state and drum up confidence. She gets them to be confident in their process. And I'm the same with speakers and with executives, is I give them structure and skill and techniques that they build and they know. And with speaking, I don't have confidence myself. Sometimes I don't feel confident. Sometimes I feel sick or sad or tired or whatever. But I have 100% confidence in my technique that every time I turn up, it will switch on. And it's the same with coaching. I have confidence in my technique of how I do it. So I just switch on and have confidence in my technique. So I have that. And so I believe that confidence comes from competence. And also that's not from just practice, because practice doesn't make you perfect. It makes you perfect at all your bad mistakes.
Yeah.
You need to practice. And that's where coaching and someone walking alongside you will help you do deliberate practice so you get better along the way. And as you do, your confidence grows along with your competence.
Oh my God, that's gold. That's gold. Such a reminder that, like you're saying, that confidence isn't magic, it's built, right? And it starts from showing up and doing the work, action. I love that. Thank you so much, Dale, for your time. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Such a pleasure. You're such an inspiration to me and such a bright light in my life.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot. What an inspiring conversation with Dale, from a 6-year-old girl watching her ballet teacher in art to a coach who now empowers leaders to own the room. Dale's journey is proof that present is power and connection is everything. Whether it was finding the right partnership with Kaylee, releasing the weight of taking responsibility for everyone, or grounding herself in the faith, Dale's story reminds us that true leadership isn't about doing more, but it's about doing differently. And the best part, when you find your kick-ass buddy, you step in growth, you step in courage and confidence that lasts. You don't have to carry the load alone.
Remember, you don't have to do it all alone. When you're back, not burnout, anything is possible. If today's episode sparked something in you, share it with a friend. Leave a review or tag me at Prita Bolaki. I'd love to hear what landed for you. Until next time, keep showing up for yourself, because your best life is just one bold step and one kick-ass buddy away. Back, not burnout, always in your corner.